And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. It's just basketball. That's what we're talking about. It's just basketball, people. And, and talking about basketball. One of the things that's really pathetic about LeBron James is how much he tries to sell himself on being this competitor. It's like when we all can see that you're not. Even the whole way that you try to go about your game is not competitive. The way number one, obviously, the constant blaming of other people means that you don't take accountability, means that you don't take responsibility upon yourself to be able to get it done no matter what. Because a true competitive spirit, that's the way they feel about it, is if I have to do it myself, it's going to get done one way or another. That's how a true competitor thinks. And, all the ridiculous statements, you have to chop my head off, bury me 12 feet deep, but before I quit on the game. When really all it takes is, you being down in the game far enough, and then you'll walk off the court. Just again, I think that's one of the most pathetic things is this guy tries to sell himself on something that he clearly is not, and that is a flaw when it comes to someone trying to be the GOAT. To me, to even get to that, truly in that conversation, to truly be in that conversation where it is not created by narratives, where it is not because you've tried to rewrite the way that we've judged every other great athlete in history, but now it's time to rewrite the rules for you. To truly be in that conversation legitimately, it does require a certain level of competitiveness. And this is why I believe Michael Jordan, again, exceeds by far. Because, again, his competitiveness was arguably, literally a mental problem. It went beyond what normal competitiveness is. And like I said, and I also believe that made Michael Jordan's journey a very singular focus, which was just simply about winning. I don't believe Michael Jordan had thoughts of being great. I don't think his thoughts was, I'm going to be greater than Larry Bird or Magic Johnson or Dr. J or some of these players he looked up to. David Thompson, which, if you watch David Thompson play, I believe that's the name, David Thompson. Michael Jordan clearly got some of his game from him as well. But I don't think Michael Jordan had thoughts of, I'm going to be greater than these guys. I think Michael Jordan's simple thought was, I want to beat these guys. I want to beat everyone who they think is better than me. I want to beat them. Everything is about winning. It's about winning on the big stage. It's about winning individual matchups. It's about winning, and proving people wrong about comparisons. And on that note, I want to talk about Michael Jordan's first three-peat. Something I never thought about that occurred to me the other day when I was thinking about this first three-peat and Michael Jordan's competitive. And, I always knew, in the 91 finals, Jordan averaged 11 assists a game. The 92 finals is where he, set the record for threes in the first half, or at least up until that point. And then, the 92 finals. Did I say 92? 92 finals, obviously, against the Portland Trail Blazers and Clyde Drexler, where he set the record for threes. And then the 93 finals, where he averaged over 40-something a game. But here's what I never actually thought about those series. That it is very interesting. Because we know that Jordan had a problem with people being compared to him. It is very interesting that in the matchup against Magic Johnson is when Michael Jordan averaged 11 assists. Hey, is that a coincidence? Is that a coincidence against the player who everyone talked about is such a great passer that Michael Jordan averaged 11 assists in that series? I don't know if that was a intentional thing by Mike or if that's just an innate thing to prove to people that he can do anything anybody else can do. I don't know if that was intentional or if that's just something that's in him that he can't control. But against the series against Magic averaged 12 assists. Michael Jordan averaged 11 assists. And then you think about the 92 series. Now, we all know about the 92 series is when they compared Drexler to him, but saying Drexler was a better three-point shooter. And then, of course, we all know Jordan comes out and sets the record for three-pointers. So we definitely know that was deliberate. And then the 93 finals, we all know Charles Barkley won the MVP. And then this is a series and Charles Barkley was known as a great rebounder and a great scorer. I mean, for you younger kids, go out there and watch you some Charles Barkley highlights. I know you see him as the sports announcer and media personality today, but go back and you will be pleasantly surprised to see how great of a player Charles Barkley was. But then in this series, Michael Jordan goes out and averages over 40 points a game. And I just think that is very interesting, that it seemed like whatever the opponent's strength seemed to be, Michael Jordan just had this need to prove that, hey, I'm just as good or better. Like, the only reason I don't do these things is because that is not what I choose to focus on in my game. But I can do anything anybody can do. And to me, this is the competitive nature of Michael Jordan. This is part of what made him so great, is that he literally would take that challenge. People are always talking about the willingness to take the challenge as a defender to guard the best players. But Michael Jordan would take the challenge. Everything was a challenge to him. If you said someone was better than him at this, he felt the need to show that, no, I could do this too. That is true competitive nature. That is the true need to win at everything. And then, so as we talk about the second three-peat, now this, like I said, is when Michael Jordan was in his mental prime. You could tell the athleticism had fell off just a touch. But this is when Michael Jordan, I think, really got into the frame of mind that I'm going to take what the defense gives me. I'm not going to force anything. I'm going to take what the defense gives me. This is when he became, I would say an even better mid-range shooter, because people try to act like he wasn't a great mid-range shooter before the second three-peat. And Michael Jordan has always been a decent mid-range shooter, and he got progressively better from the time he entered the league, pretty much until the time he exited. But the second three-peat to me is when, like I said, he got into that mentality of like, I'm just going to take what the defense gives me. Like, I don't have to force a drive and, risk getting injured trying to dunk over somebody or, going to the hole unnecessarily. Like, I'm just going to take what the defense gives me, which made him even more dangerous because he still had a great first step. He still could blow by you, but he also got that mid-range game down to such a high percentage. I mean, shooting over 50% from the mid-range, that he was literally dangerous. It was literally nothing he couldn't do at that point. And he could literally make you pay in so many ways. And again, the game became easier for him because his mindset was, I'm going to take what the defense gives me. And everybody probably knows the story. They talked about it in the last dance of playing the Sonics in 1996 in the finals. And George Karl said something to the effect of, he's getting old, or he doesn't have the athleticism he used to, so he's been shooting more jumpers. And everybody kind of came out expecting him to do the opposite. Expecting him to show George Karl, hey, no, I can blow by people just like I used to, but he didn't fall into that. Like, this is at the point where, like I said, he was like, hey, I'm going to take what the defense give me. So he killed them in the mid-range. You know, he killed them with jump shots. And to me, this is just the greatness of Michael Jordan. This is the competitiveness of Michael Jordan. And this is, you know, among other reasons, I always, when I'm talking about LeBron James, I always say, this is one of the main reasons why he's not in the conversation or why he's 4-6. But the reality of it is this is one of many reasons why LeBron James is 4-6 in the finals. But the competitive nature is a big one. You know, LeBron James wants to be viewed as competitive. You know, it's just not being honest with yourself. And this is one of the things that I don't know about LeBron James. I don't know if he actually believes he's competitive or if he just refuses to believe that he's not as competitive as he thinks he is. You know, self-honesty is a hard thing for most people, I would say. You know, it takes, you really have to get past yourself to really be brutally honest enough with yourself to admit that certain things you think about yourself just aren't the truth. And so, you know, I always wonder with LeBron James is, does the stuff he's saying, does he actually truly believe it? Or does deep down inside, he knows it's not the truth? And I go with the latter. I feel like he knows it's not the truth because when you really believe something, you don't have all the insecurities. That's how you know. Is LeBron James is a very insecure person, which is why he feels the need to beg for his respect and all this other thing, which is why he feels the need to say these things. Because a person who believes that they're so great, that they don't have to tell you about it. Again, Michael Jordan has never said he's the GOAT. And you know, I'm gonna end it with this. A lot of people say, oh, well, you know, Michael Jordan has never said it, but he thinks it. I don't know if Michael Jordan actually thinks of himself as the greatest of all time. And there obviously is no way to know this, but I'm going to say just based off of how Michael Jordan has always answered questions about greatness and the pursuit of greatness. Again, he said, you know, if you're chasing something, you don't get it, you just put in the work. I'm not sure if Michael Jordan ever thinks of himself as, hey, I'm the greatest basketball player of all time, versus thinking, I'm going to beat anybody you put in front of me, which is a difference. There is a difference between that line of thinking. One is just being a competitor. One is just being a competitor saying, I'm willing to take on the challenge of anybody you put in front of me. But the other one is something else. The other one is this need is a need for praise, really. Because why do you need to be actually seen as the greatest to ever do it? You know, to me, that's a different thought process. The actual need to be seen as the greatest to ever do it. To me, that's a more praise thing. That's a more you need the recognition thing. But I don't think Michael Jordan actually necessarily, obviously we can't say these things for sure, but I don't think he necessarily actually thinks of himself as the greatest to ever play the game. I don't know if that's a thought process versus I'm a competitor and I will beat anybody you put in front of me. Again. But anyway, we're going to hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about the competitive level of LeBron James? And even more importantly, do you think LeBron James believes that he is actually a true competitor? I'm curious. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day. And I'll see you next time. All right.